This is the bread recipe I'm using now. After 40 years of trying different variations, I like this the best. This recipe is for 6 loaves of bread. If you're using the bread machine, divide it into 3 and you'll have a recipe for 2 loaves. Bake one now, put the other in the fridge for tomorrow. These are my ingredients. Of course, you can change any of these to your liking. Just make sure you use the basic flour, water, salt, and yeast. If you want to get nice and fancy, use mine. Okay, let's get started. First, get a stick of butter, melt it over the stove, low flame, or in a microwave. Add to that half a cup of sugar, quarter cup of honey, then a tablespoon of salt, and add that 5 cups of warm milk, about 95 degrees. Put your yeast in that, mix it up nice, let it get going good. Let it get nice and dissolved. Then I add 3 cups of oat flour, 3 cups of steel cut oatmeal, 3 cups of whole wheat flour, and about 7 cups of white flour. Mix that up. Get your hands nice and clean. Get it right in there. Mix it up good so it's like pizza dough. Let it rest for about an hour.
Okay, now we're ready to divide the bread. First I want to flour the breadboard. And I'll roll my dough. And this is the way it should be. If it doesn't come out clean, you didn't put enough flour. If it sticks to your hands when you're doing this, you didn't use enough flour. So I have my recipe written for you, and if you add a little bit more milk, you'll need a little bit more flour, a little less milk, a little bit less flour. So you're going to have to go according to feel. When you get to this stage, it's like pizza dough. So what I do, I try and divide it. I'm never successful. Try and divide it into 6 equal parts. So I always make adjustments. Now, I just guess. They keep on going. So these 2 at least will be the same. And now these 2. So after a while with practice, you get to be pretty good. You never be perfect, but you be better. So now this is the tricky part. What people don't understand. You got to do this several times. So I'm not going to show you for all 6 pieces or all 6 loaves. I'll show you for 1 and then go to the next step. Otherwise you'll be with me for 3 hours on this. So I roll it up. I flip it over. There's the open side. I push it down. Make sure you got nice clean hands. It's good therapy too, especially if you're mad at somebody. Yeah. Smack it down, get all the air out. Roll it up. You gotta do this at least 4 times. You can do it a little bit more, that's good. It's called kneading. I don't know the chemical reaction, but it does help. I just roll it. If I need a little more flour, I do that. If you don't need any more flour, when you do this, then you know you got it to the right consistency. So one hand gets tired, use the other. Just keep on rolling. So you want to seal. You want to seal that opening. That's going to be down bottom of the pan anyway. So these pans look kind of crusty, that's good. I don't use soap. I just rinse them in hot water. It's what they call seasoned. These are about 40 years old. So I'll let that rise. This set's about 70 years old. This I got from my father-in-law. He had a bake shop. That's nice and handy. So we'll do that again for the other 5. Then we'll watch them rise.
Okay, after rising for about an hour, that's the second rising, then they're ready for the oven. So they should be double in bulk. And now it's coming out of the oven.
Okay, bread's coming out of the oven. Just be careful. Not only they're hot, but they could break apart if you handle them too rough. There we are. Enjoy. Okay, the moment of truth is at hand. I never cut on my breadboard. I always use a cutting board. You may have noticed when I separated the dough, I had this plastic cutter. You can buy a plastic knife. You don't want to damage your breadboard. Now I use a serrated knife, works well for me. Cut up about 1,000 loaves and you get to be good at it. People ask me if I have a bread slicing machine. I tell them yes I do. I carry it with me wherever I go. So you can make your slices thin, you can make them thick, however you like it. I put this loaf in the refrigerator for about a half hour. After it cooled, and it sort of firms up the bread, it makes it easier for slicing. If you slice it when it comes right out of the oven, it will be a disaster. So you let it cool. I mean, you can rip it apart and put butter on it, that's great. But if you want to slice it, let it cool, and then at least an hour, and then put it in the refrigerator, and that'll make it a lot easier for slicing. Enjoy. Let me know how you do.